Hey everyone, it is late at night and I am Norman. I kind of misled you in my Everest review. Let me explain. So in my recent review of the Everest, I pointed out the one flaw that I found with the watch, and that is the clasp. It is absolutely horrible, and I demonstrated how just by moving my wrist too far one way or another, it actually pops open. And it's done that just in everyday wear numerous times. By the way, the link to my Everest review is in the description below. So I went and purchased a Strapsco clasp that looked like it would fit, and when it arrived it fit perfectly. Except that the screws that clasp uses are so thick they don't even fit in the Everest's bracelet. So I did some measuring and I ordered another set of screws that should work out, even though they're smaller than the clasp's screw holes. But then I was commuting and the sun was out, and I noticed a smudge on the crystal, so I wiped it off and it was still there. Now that's happened before, and I've had to actually wash the crystal. So I washed it as best I could while I was driving. And it still didn't come off. The smudge is on the inside of the crystal. And I figured I would just ignore this, but every time I look down at the watch, it'll look dirty. So I decided to see how much it would cost to get that taken care of. So I reached out to Tic Toc Watch Repairs, which is actually the shout out for this video. So be sure to check them out. The link is in the description below. So after reaching out to Tic Toc Watch Repairs for an estimate, they came back with a perfectly reasonable price. For under $50, they'll take the crystal off, thoroughly clean it, put it back on, and double check the water resistance. I almost went with an imitation oyster bracelet for this watch, but I like that clasp, and I actually like the rivet bracelet, which was a surprise. I didn't think I would like it until I saw it in person. So I decided to stick with this clasp that I purchased, and then I thought, well, while Tic Toc Watch Repairs has it, why don't I see if they can put the clasp on it as well? So I contacted them again, and they said they'd be glad to try and put it on there as best they can. And I mean, they have access to all kinds of screws and parts for bracelets and watches, so hopefully they'll be able to get it put on there. And by the way, Smiths isn't even a watch that Tic Toc Watch Repairs typically services. And of course this isn't a full-blown service, but it's really cool that they were willing to work on this watch. So how did I mislead you in my Everest review? In that video, I warned people going after the Everest to be prepared to deal with that clasp. However, one of my viewers out there pointed out something that I wasn't aware of. And that is what is so awesome about YouTube viewers. All of you guys are absolutely amazing. If I misspeak or make a mistake or I'm unaware of something, you guys are kind enough to inform me in the comments. And sure enough, one of you let me know that if you purchase an Everest now, it arrives on an improved clasp, and those are secured using a push-button mechanism. So if you go to their website, sure enough, there it is photographed with that improved clasp. So I'm pretty sure that every Everest that comes out of this shop now will have that clasp, not the one that mine came with. But if you look at the rivet bracelet, which can be purchased separately, it is still photographed with the old clasp, so I'm not sure exactly what you would get if you ordered one of those. There was a second thing that I was mistaken about in that review. I mentioned the applied indices of the Explorer and how beautiful those are, and I thought that the Everest's dial was actually a unique design to the Smiths. However, my good friend who lent me his Explorer reminded me that the 1016 actually had painted on indices, and the font that was used on those dials is nearly identical to the one in the Everest. I should have remembered that because I did do a reference history of the Explorer, and the link to that video is in the description also. But I totally forgot about the 1016 and didn't put it together that those dials are actually pretty much identical. So this really is an homage to that particular Explorer, which is good and bad, depending on your perspective of homages. So we'll see what happens when the watch is returned. Hopefully Tic Toc Repairs is able to get that clasp put on there, and I'll do a follow-up video showing that one off. It has the glide lock mechanism on it, which I'm super excited about. Being able to do micro adjustments without tools anywhere that you're at. So I apologize for those 2 points that should have been made in the review video, but I wasn't aware. Thanks for watching.